John Street. Hello today. How are you? Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for joining me on the show. John Street.
Hey, Cory, it's good to be here.
Got mindset coach John Street hanging out here with me. And dude, honestly, I didn't think I know you have your podcast, and I got myself set up. I'm gonna actually be a guest. I set up on your calendar for next Monday. So
Woohoo.
at this point, we're just kind of getting the feelers. We're kind of understanding. But the thing is, I didn't want to like go into this knowing a whole bunch about you and having had listened to your show and got a whole feel. Like I'd rather have the hands-on experience of just having a conversation, as people do, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
Um, I've just had this thought about songs that get stuck in your head. Is there any ones that are like automatically just that get stuck in your head, like, and you can't make them go away?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I get Let It Go from Frozen. I get that stuck in my head.
That's an earworm. That one.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's actually a good thing to live by too, though. So I mean, that's kind of a good thing. And it gets stuck in my head. I'm like, okay, that's some good advice I need to take into consideration as well.
Is your background, is that your place, or is that just a green screen behind you?
No, it's my place. It's my office here.
Oh man,
Um,
it looks like one of those like stock picture backgrounds where they're like, oh, like I just put a green screen behind me. I don't want to show people where I actually live.
Yeah, funny. Yeah, no, this is actually my office, and it's funny. You may see I have a dog. He's a husky mix, named Judah. He's laying next to me right now, but every now and then he hops back in the chair here. So you may see it. I always kid that on my podcast he's kind of my mascot. Um,
We have a husky, Pomeranian husky. He's a Pomsky. He
that's
comes in here and
awesome.
he comes in here and hangs with me like
Aw.
pretty often. But
What is his name?
his name's Bowie.
Ah, cool. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Bowie and Judah, they'll have to meet.
yeah. What state are you in, John?
I am located in Birmingham, Alabama, born and
Okay.
raised. I do motivational speaking in addition to mindset coaching, and so I speak all over the place. I travel a good bit, but born and raised here in Birmingham.
That's awesome. The so you do a lot of like Zoom calls and meetings and stuff for work. So
I do, yeah.
you probably see all the green screen backgrounds I'm talking about. Where
Oh
people
my gosh, yeah, and it's always a dead giveaway when somebody turns their head real fast
the
because
whole
it'll
room.
kind of like. Yeah, it's sort of like the Matrix. It's a glitch. They turn their head and you're like, wait a second, you're not actually in a penthouse apartment in New York City.
The one guy who I've been a guest on this podcast before, and he's been on my show. His like whatever his green screen that's behind him might be like the same color as his glasses or something. So his like glasses are the background.
Oh, that's funny.
Always weirds me out. Like I'm trying to like blink it out of my eyes to not notice it when
Hmm.
when he's talking to me, and I'm like, hold on for just a quick second. Your glasses are your room.
Exactly. You're fading into your background.
Right. So, what's the most like common hurdle, or like not? I mean, I call them hurdles, but some people like obstacles that you've noticed when you're working with somebody. Like, what's the first thing that you're like, oh, okay, I know this. I know where this is headed. Like pretty
Hmm.
early on.
It always comes back to some type of limiting belief, like something that a person has picked up, usually from childhood, and they don't even know they picked it up.
Right.
Like we can get these limiting beliefs in our thinking, our paradigm of thought, that might have been taught to us by a teacher or a parent or somebody at a church or synagogue or whatever, but somebody at some point told you this is who you are, this is your identity, and we accept it. And then we just sort of get in this identity loop that everything that we believe is based off of that thing. And so it is wild how many people never stop to ask themselves, who are they really? What do they want their life to look like? They just have these beliefs that limit them, and they don't challenge those because they don't realize they're limiting beliefs to begin with. So that's something that I usually see in almost every coaching call, especially if someone has never worked with a mindset coach before, because they've never delved down into that and really realized, wow, I can choose my identity, or I don't have to believe this way.
For you personally, where was it that you picked up that you could recognize that?
Oh my gosh. For me, especially financially. So my parents were very good people, and not at all wealthy. Like my dad lost his job when I was very young. I remember struggling. I remember them losing their house, declaring bankruptcy. I remember like at 5 years old, they sold everything that they had. Like I can distinctly remember everything being stacked up like on the dining room table with a price tag, and then selling the table too. Like we were sleeping on air mattresses. Like it was so rough. But I was never taught that wealthy people were bad. I was just taught that I wasn't one. You know, wealthy people were other. And so that's something that I had to like rewire as I got older, that it was okay to be successful, that my identity could be successful. And I mean, I don't believe that we live and die on monetary success either. I think that there's a whole lot more to life than money. And,
For
but
sure.
money is I am nothing if not adaptable. What I was saying when my computer camera and everything went awry is so when when we lost everything, so it took me years and years and years to get past that. And I finally did, and I finally got past that, and I was doing well in business and well in my career. And then at some point, um, I decided I wanted to switch over to mindset coaching and switch over um, to public speaking. I wrote a book. I started a podcast, and then I had to encounter all those limiting beliefs again. Like it
Right.
was almost like I was starting over, and I realized the difference is I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. I saw myself as a guy that worked really hard with a job, and that's how you become successful. And because my dad always had multiple jobs and all of that. So once again, I had to encounter those limiting beliefs, and I had to reframe those and change them and choose faith over fear again. And I think that sometimes we go through cycles in our lives where we have to face those same beliefs over and over and over again. So
Right.
I've definitely gone through that, and I see people encounter it a lot.
I think people identify with the hustle culture, and they think like, oh, if I'm not working at a job, if I'm not an employee, what am I? Um, it's
Yeah.
like it's like a it's like a somebody else instilling into you the idea that you've got to be this to be anything. It's like like you said, like when someone just throws these limited beliefs on you because that's their limited beliefs that they have on themselves, and they're just kind
Mhm.
of making it yours now. And you're like, well, this is what's worked for me, so you pick this up, and you'll be just like me,
Yeah,
without
exactly.
really.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's intentional a lot of times. It's just
No,
we're a product of our environment. And so what people know is what they put out there, you know?
right. I don't blame any one person for any like manipulative things. I go, well, like that's what they learned how to be, and that's the way they. I don't think it's evil. Everybody who does manipulative things or like has like a survivor, like let me make sure that I get myself set up. I get this whole situation set up where I'm going to come out like surviving.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily think it's time to like be mad at those people or hate those people. Like that's just really that's really like an accepting of those people, because like you go ahead and be that, because if it wasn't for you being that, I wouldn't know who I am. I wouldn't have a better idea of who I am and how to navigate other people who are like you. So thank you for giving me the experience, and thanks for thanks for existing. And
Hmm.
your role has been important in my life.
Hmm.
I just have to I just have to evolve. I just have to do my growth.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I'm a big believer that everything we go through is important. Steve Jobs had that quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward, but you can connect the dots looking back. So when you look back, I think that the universe is working everything out together for our good, that everything is happening for us as long as we are surrendered to that, as long as we believe that. I mean, I think we definitely have free will and we're making our decisions, but if we're working toward living a life of purpose and working toward being a higher self, being kind, being generous, being service oriented, then everything is just naturally going to work out for our benefit, and we may not always see it as our benefit. It could totally, be terrible in the moment, but that could be the very thing that grows us into the person that we become to shine our light to help more people.
Yeah. What was the thing? What was the thing growing up that you were like, I want to be that. I want to do that. What was your like your main focus when you think of like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be this. What was the thing that you always said that you wanted to be?
I wanted to be an actor. I was a theater kid in high school, a theater major in college, and I was like, I want to walk the red carpet. I want to be an actor, and I did. I enjoyed it. I actually ended up writing a lot of plays, directed some plays and things, but it just like as everything started to evolve and I got busier in business, I enjoyed like I in my past, I sold real estate. I was a sales director for a flooring company. Like I did a lot of sales and really enjoyed that, and realized I still appreciate the theater. It's just not necessarily what I want to do for my career. But I've got my best friend. She is an opera singer, and she knew in high school she wanted to be an opera singer, and still is. And so she's told me before, she's like, I can't believe that you left theater. And I'm like, I just sort of changed. Like I evolved. I love it, but it's just not what I have to do. And now I'm doing what I feel like is my purpose, like helping people shift their identity to become the person that is living their highest self, reframing limiting beliefs. Like those are all things that I want to do. Like that is my purpose. And so, yeah, I feel like connecting the dots though, a lot of the things that I got through theater and through acting classes and things like that helped me in public speaking now when I do motivational speaking, for sure. It's all connecting those dots, looking backwards, it all makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta sell to the cheap seats. You guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
They gotta see it in the nosebleeds and understand.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That's so true. I
Yeah.
saw I don't know if you're familiar with Jay Shetty. He is
Oh yeah, of course.
oh yeah, he's amazing with his
Yeah.
podcast on purpose and he's awesome. And I had the opportunity to meet him in Atlanta, but I saw like him at this arena. It's probably 3,000 seats and it was packed out. And I'm just like, okay, one day I'm gonna make sure that the person in the back row of the balcony is getting just as much as those people that paid the VIP on the front row. Like
Yeah.
it's so important. But yeah, I love Jay Shetty too. He's one of my guys. He's amazing.
It's good. He's good. You know, it, the one cool thing that I took from some of what you were saying was the sometimes the limiting beliefs can come up when you go, I want to do this public thing, and then you go back to the limiting beliefs are like, who am I? Who'd want to hear what I've got to say? Like what's my relevancy? Like what's the like any of those limiting beliefs, and then there's probably 1 million podcasts that have 2 episodes because people let their limiting beliefs, their
Mhm.
self talk, kind of talk them out of pursuing it any further because they didn't get automatic Joe Rogan results on episode one. And they're like, oh, let me
Yeah.
try this one more time. And then nothing. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely went through that. I mean, especially when I transitioned into this career and decided I wanted to be a speaker and write a book, start a podcast. Is like the very first thing I did was started posting on social media. I didn't know what I wanted to do right at first. I just knew I needed to use my voice in a way that was motivating and inspiring. So I just started making videos to post on Instagram. And I mean, at that point, I'm 47 years old, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Like, like everybody that I saw that was in that mindset space were like, ultra broy, hustle culture, Navy SEAL, you know, just shirtless driving a Lamborghini. And that's just not who I am. Like, I'm not that guy. And so I was so scared no one would want to hear me because I didn't have that physique, I didn't have that authority and all of that. But I had to overcome that fear. And so I just had to start posting. And what's really funny is the very first video that I posted like that, like it got some steam and some people shared it and it went to non-followers and people that didn't know me and this one guy commented, he was like, "You have a face for anything but this." And I'm just like,
what a
"Wow,
mean
that was
thing to
so
say.
mean."
If you're going to comment anything, think about what you're going to say before you say it. Would you want someone to say that to you?
Right, exactly. And so, like, and about, but the great thing was, I mean, I totally believe that, like, I sort of manifested that comment because it was my biggest fear. And I'm a really big believer that where we put our energy, that's what we're attracting. And so I was so scared. I was
Right.
so scared that somebody was going to make fun of me, that somebody was going to be like, "Ah, you don't have the face for this, you don't have the body for this," and blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, the very first video, somebody says something like that. And at that point, I like went to their website. They didn't even have a profile picture on their like username. And
They
I'm
never
just like,
do. They
okay,
never do.
exactly.
Those are the bots. Like
Exactly.
even if they're real people, they are an NPC bot who's only programmed to say this yuck thing and have
Yeah.
like no like real joy in their heart.
Exactly. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you, Corey, it taught me, okay, your biggest fear already happened. Somebody made fun of you in a comment. I deleted the comment, blocked them, and moved on with my day. But there were tons of people who were reaching out and saying, "Hey, thank you. I needed this. This is motivating. This is inspiring." And so if I had decided to focus on that one comment, it all would have ended right there. But instead, I listened to the people who were like, "Hey, this is really helping me and this is really inspiring me." And everything just sort of grew from there. I just sort of from there I, hired my own mindset coach. I started working toward speaking and getting certified and doing coaching and all the other things that
Yeah.
came after that. But I could have just given up right there and been like, somebody hurt my feelings. But
Yeah. Well, like
but you have to get a thick skin really quick online.
yeah, I mean because you're gonna hear 1,000 no's before you hear one yes in any of the sales that you're doing. Like
Yeah.
this talking into a microphone and being in front of a camera isn't for everybody, but it could be. If people wanted to do it, they could absolutely do it. This is why I always say like I don't look at it as any kind of competition. If somebody else is gonna start a podcast, I'm gonna say, dude, you've got a voice that nobody else has got. You've got experience. You've got a perspective. You've got a worldview. Nobody else walks in your shoes at all. No one knows what it's like to be you. Let them know what it's like to be you, because maybe there's some things about the way you grew up that teaches them something about them that they didn't know from the way they grew up. And
Hmm.
so I would say, like, when you're pulling buckets of water out of the ocean is still the ocean, and you didn't change it. You just got that bucket of water now. Like
Hmm.
so, like keep on pulling those buckets out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That kind of reminds me, there's that old saying about this couple walking along the beach and there's like 10,000 starfish that have washed up on the beach. And so he starts taking a starfish and throws it back into the water. And the other person turns to him and they're like, "Why are you doing that? There's like 10,000 starfish. You can't save all these starfish." And he was like, "Yeah, but for that one, I can save their life." And so, I mean, yeah, you never know. You may not reach a million people, but for the one person that your message reaches, it's worth it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I had this bit that I was doing. I was doing on stage. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it because I don't know if I can find the right rhythm. But I talk about like when you compare yourself to people, right? If you see people online and you're like, oh, this shirtless gym bro dude, this guy, like, who's going to pay attention to me when this guy's doing what I want to do? And, I don't have the followers that he's got. I don't have, and I say, I look at it like this. I compare it to birds. You know, some of them still get hit by cars. They got the entire sky. Not everybody's got it all figured out. And sometimes you'll see them like running full speed on the ground. I'm like, what are you doing? You got wings. Go up.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say that to your own self. What are you doing? You got wings. Get up there.
But they're limiting themselves. Like you said, like for whatever reason, they're conditioned to not use those wings.
Right.
They're conditioned to fly too low and then get hit by the car. For whatever
Right.
reason, they're not soaring as high as they could.
Right.
And that's a really good analogy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard about like the elephant? You know, there's the elephant in the circus
Egg
when
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you've got an elephant in the circus, and when they're a baby, they put a pick in the ground and they tie them to that pick with a rope. And a baby elephant can't pull away from it. And so they just walk in that one circle. That's all they know to do. Well, as they become adult elephants, they could snap that rope in a millisecond if they wanted to,
Right.
but they don't even try because they were conditioned from a baby that they cannot do it. And I think that's what we have to do in our own lives, or figure out what are those ropes that we're conditioned to believe are holding us back so we can snap those and we can actually change our lives in a millisecond. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes one decision. It takes one time of choosing faith over fear. It takes one time of betting on yourself, I mean, and you can change your life and the life of those around you.
Have you ever written any scripts? Because I know you said you were in theater and acting and stuff.
I did. So I've written not like television scripts, but I wrote a couple of plays and things like that that were performed. I used to be pretty involved in church when I was growing up, and as a young adult, I wrote a couple of like Easter dramas and things like that. I'm from the South, so there's a like we do giant Easter productions down here in the churches. Not necessarily the churches I go to now. Now I'm Methodist. They tone it down, but grew up in like Assemblies of God and stuff, and they did these massive Easter dramas and stuff. So I wrote a few of those.
The reason I was asking because I guess they say like when it comes to script writing, when you go like, does this scene serve the story? Does this move?
Hmm.
Does this push forward the story? And I'm trying to think of that and any other thing that you're faced with and how you react to it. Now at this point, does it serve the story? Does it push forward the story that you're telling yourself that you are this person, that you do deserve this? And I say a lot of times to people, uh, you get everything that you believe you deserve. Like if you're wanting to be this, but think that you only deserve this, the thing that you want is gonna have a hard time finding you because you're looking over here going like, oh, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be.
Hmm.
And just like the elephant on the peg, it you're moving that part of the story forward. It's you know irrelevant,
Hmm.
irrelevant,
Irrelevant elephant. Yeah.
irrelevant.
But you're spot on though, Corey, because like it all comes down to identity. I used to toy with the thought of calling myself an identity transformation coach. But the problem with that is that people don't know they need identity transformation. So that's why I stuck with mindset coach. But what I actually do is help people transform their identity. And that's because
From the
We
identity
are,
they're born with, their born identity.
yeah, to whoever you actually
That was a
desire to be.
Matt Damon movie.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't. I'm no Jason Bourne, but a lot less violence in my life, and I hope it remains
I,
that way.
I mean,
Um,
he seemed like he had comfy sweaters, right?
I know, right? I mean, I'm not knocking Matt Damon. He's a cool guy, but yeah, I'm not him. But so, we're taught that, or at least we believe that our circumstances create our identity. Like we're a product of our environment. We're a product of where we're born. Our circumstances create who we are. But actually, I believe that it is our identity that is creating a lot of our circumstances. Now, not all of them. There are definitely injustices in the world. There are definitely things that are beyond our control. But there are a lot of things we can control. And when we shift our identity, then we change what we see around it. Like you, for instance, hosting a podcast. I mean, you're not waiting for someone to tell you that you can host a podcast. You're hosting a podcast. And therefore, your identity of hosting a podcast means that you have a podcast you're creating. So you're creating that reality that matches your identity.
I think the phrase that it's I've heard, it's been called building worlds. I,
Hmm.
I'm a builder of worlds, and I like to. I'm very fascinated with being the resource that connects one resource to another resource. I love doing that and being like the the segue between, like, they were like, oh, I found this through this and then that through that and then it made me all these other things. So like I
Hmm.
like to take that with all of the things that I do and have them serve every other thing that I do. And they're like, oh, this guy's a wrestler. Oh, did you hear he also does comedy? Oh, they found his comedy. Oh, did you know he also has a podcast? Oh, he does a podcast. Did you hear he also is an actor and he's in a bunch of movies and stuff? Oh, check that out. He's an actor in a bunch of movies and stuff. Oh, and he has a podcast. And then every other thing is a full circle of like being able to find who you are. Like,
Hmm.
because I'm not necessarily coming out here and trying to tell you who I am as much as I'm trying to help you find who you are by
Yeah.
by living as an example. Because
Hmm.
for sure, if you're thinking about doing something and you're not doing it, stop thinking and just do it.
Absolutely. Because you wouldn't have that desire to do it if you weren't also given the capability to do it. Like, I truly believe that. Like, if you have a desire to do something different, and it's one of those hopes or those dreams, but so many people put those on the back burner because they don't think they can. But I think that when you say yes to those, that's when the whole universe starts to come together and say, okay, let's help you, let's help work it out for you. Because you're saying I'm trusting that. I'm trusting that desire within me.
Are you familiar with, and do you know about like the like water jars experiment where like they
Uh,
put all
about the
all the
negativity or
yeah, put all the negativity in into the water in the one jar
Mhm.
and put all the positivity into the water in the other jar. I, I'm so fascinated with that because like also makes me think. I've actually seen people do this experiment. I've never done it, which I intend to do it. The the whole idea is like, the one jar, fill a jar full of water, fill two jars full of water, and in the one jar, pour all your love and support and say, you deserve everything, you're the best, I love you, you're the best. And and then seal that shut and put it on a shelf, and then have another jar and scream all your negativity. You're the worst. I can't believe you. You make all the worst decisions, blah blah blah. You suck, you suck, you suck. All the limiting beliefs into that jar. Seal that up, put them next to each other, and watch the colors, the clearness, the clarity of those jars, and see what happens to them.
Mhm.
Uh, the one you pour your negativity in gets all garbage stuff. The one that you're pouring your love into gets so clear, so clean.
Mhm.
I think about that when I think about how we talk about ourselves to ourselves. I,
Mhm.
you'll never catch me saying I'm an idiot. I suck. Like you'll never find. And anytime I'm around anybody who does talk about themselves like that, automatically try to convince them to stop saying that stuff to themselves. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like I'm personally offended by how you're speaking around me. It's not about me. It's about you and what you're doing to the insides of yourself. It's just like smoking cigarettes. It's just like I'd want to ask you to stop smoking cigarettes the same way I'd want to ask you to stop calling yourself a dummy.
Hmm. Exactly. Because either way, you're putting toxins in your body.
Right. Yeah.
You're exactly right. Yeah, I love that experiment too. There's several similar to that as well. But it is you can literally see how the particles change in a magnifying glass
Right.
when you're
Yeah.
speaking positive versus negative to that. And it is so true. I mean, when you're constantly telling yourself that you're garbage or you can't do something or you're an idiot, we speak to ourselves with a negative self-talk so many times that we would never say to someone that we cared about. I'll tell people, I'm like, think of somebody you love, like think of your parent or your spouse or your child. And if you would not say it to them, you should not say it to yourself.
I think, it's like it's a level of like awareness that people want to look beyond. They want to go like, oh well, I don't deserve that. Yes, you do. Like I
Mhm.
like or going like saying that if I have to police all my thoughts and all my words, if I have to like self monitor that hard, it's too much effort and I don't want to do it. That that, that's it's for your good. Like you're gonna help yourself. It's ultimately gonna help you out to do this for yourself.
Yeah. It comes back to like that old saying, choose your hard.
Right.
It's hard to exercise and get in shape, but it's also hard to to get diseases and be obese. Like I used to weigh 120 pounds more than I do right now. I was 350 pounds and we had so many health issues. And when I shifted my mindset, I shifted everything. My physical body began to change. I started going to the gym, like everything, because I shifted who I believed I was, but I chose my heart. And even yesterday, it was a Sunday. I wasn't able to go Saturday. I was backed with like tons of appointments Saturday. So I'm like, it's a Sunday. I don't want to go to the gym. I was like, but I'm gonna go to the gym because this is a commitment I made to myself. And if I wouldn't break a commitment to my spouse or to my family or my friends, I'm not going to break this commitment to me. But you have to choose your heart. Is it hard to break the habit of speaking to yourself negatively? Well, yeah, but it's also hard to believe that you're worthless or believe that you're not deserving of good things because you won't change your inner thought. You choose your heart.
I was I was thinking those exact words that you just said out loud. Like the worthiness that everyone has that they don't know they have, or like they believe that they deserve less than what they are worthy of. Like you're somebody convinced you. Some girl in my middle school used to always say, "Someone lied to you." Somebody lied to you. Like she would say it in an offensive way. She'd be like, "Oh, somebody told you that shirt looked good. Somebody lied to you." Like that
Uh,
kind of thing. But I'd say that when it comes to going like, "All right, this is if you believe that you suck and that you're dumb, that's because somebody lied to you. That's because
exactly.
somebody told you once and you believed it, or
Mhm.
somebody continued to bring it up and you continued to let them."
And you know what's sad is you may not even remember when you first bought
Right.
that. You
Right.
may not even remember when you first believed it, but it's become a core belief. And you
Mhm.
have to shift those beliefs. You have to find them and get rid of them because they are like they're deciding your future instead of you. Like whatever somebody instilled in you is making you take the risk that you take or not take the risk, make the decisions you make. I mean, all of it is coming back to something that you didn't even choose yourself, and that's sad. Like that, why give that much agency to somebody else, and something that you might not even remember when you even picked it up.
So, just for an example, I'm gonna put myself as an example to help you relate to me more or understand me a little bit more. When I was a kid, I was like a, I was like a kind of a skinny, fat, awkward, sweaty kid with a stupid haircut. Like I just had like this bowl. Think Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. That was
Yeah.
my haircut. And I was in special ed. I was a sped kid, and so like I got made fun of like crazy, and a lot of people trying to convince me that I was not worthy or undeserving of the things that I wanted, and that's a whole other thing is saying out loud what you want to people who don't want it for you. They're going to convince you that it's not true. It's not possible. It's not for you. Like, be realistic. Like, if you're telling me to be realistic, I'm gonna reevaluate the realistic nature of how valuable you are in my life.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
did you change? How did you ever, or when did you change? Because clearly you made a big change.
Yeah. I think it was. I started training to be a pro wrestler when I was, I'd say between 14 and 16. In those years when I decided that I was going to be a wrestler, and I, I met my coach pretty early on, Eddie Valentine, and Eddie Valentine after training was over, he said to me, don't ever look like you don't believe that you belong in this ring. Like you, he said, to be an athlete, you could play baseball in your school, you could play basketball in your school, you could play football in your school. You want to do martial arts, you can do that, and you could do that in all these shopping centers all over. To find a pro wrestling school, there's so little amount of pro wrestling schools. You must have believed that you deserved to find it. You must have believed that you belonged here. Carry yourself in this ring like you believe you belong here. And then it changed the way I like saw every other thing that I do.
Mm.
Like about being sure. And that actually changed the way that everybody else saw me too. Like it wasn't just me changing everything about me. It wasn't a changing in myself. It was just a way of like carrying myself. And I think I get to the point where I go into any store and people go, "Oh, do you work here?" They think I must know all the answers. Somebody came up to me in the grocery store and was like, "Hey, where's your toilet paper?" And I'm like, "At my house, in the closet in my house." Where's your toilet paper?
That's funny.
People always think I work somewhere. Anytime but I think everybody just wants to ask anybody else to have the answers to any of the questions that they've got.
Yeah, I think
You
that's
know,
probably a good point too. And don't wear a red shirt to Target. I think that's
right?
what I'm taking away from what you
Right.
just said.
I will never wear a blue vest that says "How may I help you today." It's not going to be me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
always
that's
going to be
not the
somebody
best
else.
idea. That's awesome. So yeah, I think that's hey, just all gonna like even with that, it goes back to identity. You're like, that's not who I am.
Right.
This isn't who I am.
Mhm.
So let's find the person that works here, and that's who they are, and they can help you.
Well, I have to say, John, it's not like a overnight thing, and I'm not all the way the guy. You know what I mean? I'm still working on it. It's a ever the as soon as the moon falls, here comes the sun. Kind of, it's a ever evolve, everyday thing. The work is never done, kind of thing. So
That's so true.
it's not like when it comes back to me going you comparing yourself to people, the people who have it good like that, it's not always good. They're always working on it. There's
Absolutely.
constant work to be done. There's things to be learned, and there's work to be done, and you got to find out what those things are. You got to know who you want to be. And I
Hmm.
think also like I I do a lot of like self parenting my childhood self, like
Hmm.
a lot. And I think I found a great partner in that we can co-parent our childhood selves. So we'll open up pretty often with each other about like what wounds that we've been healing and things like that. That's it's been I've been so grateful. I'm so blessed. My life is incredible, and I have to just be grateful every day. And I think some of that has to do with like changing how I look at what's the line. I'm going to say it right now. You probably heard this a million times. When you change the way you see the world you see will change. That is massively important. That is
It
massively,
is.
yeah, humongous.
It absolutely is. And I think that's awesome that you're, you know, going back and doing self-parenting. Like, it's so important to not just like we can't just say, "Oh, well, that happened when I was young, and I just got to let that go." Before we can let it go, we have to deal with it. If we don't deal with things, we can't really let them go. They're always going to come back. Like we have to deal with them. It's like grief. Like going through grief is something we have to deal with that pain so that then we can go. And by not dealing with something, we're denying the ability for it to actually grow us and make us stronger too by just trying to ignore things. So that's really awesome that you're going back and doing that. And you mentioned that about comparison, which comparison is the thief of joy. But
Yeah.
also, the people that we think have it all together, they don't have it all together either. All we see are people's social media personas. We see where
Yeah.
everyone's posting they're the best of themselves. They're not waking up and showing us stubbing their toe in the morning or running out of gas or having a flat tire. That doesn't make the Instagram reel. It's
Yeah.
just like when they're going to Barbados. I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah.
we can't
It's
compare their
cultivated.
fake life to our real life.
Right. They cultivate the highlights, the billboards. Like
Exactly.
they're not gonna show you when they pee their pants or something. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
they're like, oh, what now? It changes the way everybody looks at me. Now everybody sees me as the guy who pees his pants.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
that was a wild example, and I'm not the guy who pees my pants. Not me. If you were thinking that I was saying that from experience, it was just a wild example that I pulled out of thin air.
Yeah. No, I kind of believe you might be, but I'm not going to judge you for it.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want to encourage you to make a story about it on Instagram if the next time you do.
peas be with you.
Oh my gosh. And also with you, sir. That's funny. I keep wanting to ask you questions, but I'm on your podcast.
No,
I
but
keep
please.
thinking of questions for you. But I have plenty of time to do it when you're on my podcast, and I can't wait because I have a lot of questions about the wrestler, comedian, actor
I,
that is Cory.
we've got about 15 more minutes before we start heading home. So I'm gonna do this segment, the like normal segments that I get to, because like we kind of didn't we don't abide by a structure here. There's not really a
Gotcha.
like oh, I have a whole list here that I've got to make sure I hit these notes.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything like that because I want it to be organic. I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic.
This is
So
very real since I'm like bad lighting on my laptop camera now, which I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna flow. It's
yeah,
okay.
warts and all. It's ever
Warts
evolving.
and all.
The the thing that I do pretty often is I really like to have things said on the record. And this is part of me going back to going like I think I think this may have been what I was supposed to do with my life. Like I think that this is the thing that I've always needed to do but didn't know. Like when I was a kid growing up, I was like I want to be a pro wrestler. That's all I want to do with my life. I want to be a comedian. Those are the main goals I want to do with my life. I always said that. because podcasting didn't exist yet. Maybe if the thing that you want to do with your life, you seem lost in it, maybe the thing you want to do doesn't exist yet. Maybe when I found this and this is what I want to do. But I like to have these on the record conversations with people and say things to people that is gonna like be evergreen. This is not going anywhere. Anybody wants to come back and listen to this. This is on the record, the first conversation, the first long form conversation that we had, and I want to tell you, just from my heart, if there's ever a way that I could be any kind of resource to you, if there's any questions you've got, if you ever have a feeling like you're like, oh, I'm alone and I can't talk to anybody about anything, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I'm right here for you, and I want that to be on the record, so you could go back and listen to this 10 years from now, and it would still be evergreen. The idea, the fact that I've been doing this, it's going on 10 years that I've been doing this podcast now. And I've interviewed some of my best friends, some of my favorite people, some people who have been really integral, really important to my growth as a person. And I have these on the record conversations with them, and then like pretty soon afterwards, they're not with us anymore. And I can go back and listen to those conversations, and it's a real like peaceful. It feels really good to have these on the record conversations with people. That like it helps for the grieving process, and I love that I have it not just for me, but for their families. Like my friend Jimmy, passed, and I sent the episode to his daughter, and she's like, "You captured my dad. That's exactly who he is." And she's like, you don't see a whole lot of him publicly being who he is. Yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to do, because the idea is, and another thing I want to say to you on the record, the currency of your effort, your time, and your attention is so valuable. It's so valuable, not just in the world, but it's so valuable to me. I appreciate that so very much, and the fact that you've given me some of that currency today, I'll appreciate it forever. And this is just the first time. I want this to be one of many. Let's continue to do these. But I want to throw all that stuff out there to tell you and flip it around and say, if there's anything on the record that you'd like to ask me or say to me or anything like that, here's your opportunity to be the host of a podcast for a second.
Well, yeah. Well, Cory, first of all, I really appreciate you having me on today, and I appreciate your kind words for sure. I'm looking forward to, continuing to get to know you and your podcast and your voice better. And yeah, what I would like to say to you on the record is to keep going. Nothing can stop us if we don't quit. And so keep wrestling, keep acting, keep doing comedy, keep hosting your podcast, because what you're doing when you're flowing in your purpose is you're putting your light out there to the world, and you never know who needs to see your light. I mean, basically, that's what we all are. We're all a lighthouse, and there are people who are out at sea that need our light. And you never know how something that you say is going to encourage someone, something that you say is going to lift somebody up, is going to empower and inspire someone. So that would be what I would say to you, is just keep going, keep building.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you do any impressions at all?
Oh my gosh. Just my late Aunt Trelly, who passed away. She was this Southern lady who would always talk to my dad. But that's not something most people will get, but it's pretty good, so I'll still do it.
Okay.
My dad was named Billy, and she'd be like, "Hey Billy, hey Billy, this is Trelly. I just called to say hello." And she sounded just like that. If you knew her, you would know what a good impression that really is.
My mom was from the South, and she sounded just like that.
Really?
She'd be like, "Oh, hey, Julie Bug, you're so pretty." Like,
Oh,
she
you're
was,
so pretty.
"You so pretty." But
Yeah.
yes, I'm very familiar with the sweet old Southern lady accent.
Yeah. And you're Philadelphia, right?
Yes, yes,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
I love it up there. Actually, my husband works for a company based in Pittsburgh, but works remotely in Birmingham. So yeah,
Oh,
with a PNC Bank all the way in Pittsburgh. So we get to Pennsylvania every now and again.
awesome. Next time you come through, come through. We'll have lunch or something. Like
Yeah, that'll
introduce
be
you
awesome.
introduce you to my wife, and I'll meet your husband. It'll be awesome. Let's do that.
That'd be great. Yeah, I love Pennsylvania. It's a great state up there. I like the North, actually. I'm not one of these anti-Northern kind of Southern people. I travel all over and I love the North and the Northeast especially. It's really nice. But I love places where you have all four seasons. And that's kind of nice. Like, I know the
You-
winter gets like tiring, but I would like a little more winter and a little less summer like I have down here.
I would like the opposite.
I know. Everyone in the North is like, believe me, you get tired of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm 40. I'm 42. So I've had 42 winters. I'm over it. It's okay. I can have less winters. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
The thing going back to me saying how this stuff is evergreen. This stuff is going outliving us. I like to say that to say let's do this segment that I call audio time travel. So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, let's say the next words that you say are going directly to the ears of the people who find this recording 20 years in the future. So 2046, they're coming across this episode, and let's say those people are the people who care about you the most, your biggest fans, or your biggest supporters, or your big, like, the people you love the most, your family. What are the words you're saying right to them?
Don't let others define who you are. I think that's it all starts and ends with that. You decide your identity. It's between you and God. Like it is between you and your higher power. I believe we're all created with a purpose, and don't let somebody else dictate what that purpose is to you, what you are able to do and not do, accomplish and not accomplish. You decide who you are and then go after it 100%.
Captain Planet would tell you. What would he tell you?
I don't know.
Oh man, you don't know
So
Captain
sorry.
Planet? No.
I don't guess I do. Captain America, maybe, but not Captain
Well, there was
Planet.
a cartoon called Captain Planet, and he would always say, "The power is yours."
Oh, how
That-
funny. Yeah, sorry, man. You set it up and I did not spike the ball. I did
It's,
not know
it's
where
okay.
you were going with
It's
that.
okay. We can pretend you did. Like,
Exactly. The power is yours. Yeah.
yes, the power is yours.
That's awesome.
So, in in the way that we wrap up every show is I have the guests in their best impression say the way we close out. They say, "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving." So, how would your aunt say, "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving"?
She said, Billy, you gotta be fun and have safe and just keep evolving.
It was better than anything I've ever heard. Thanks so
Hell
much, John.
yeah.
Appreciate you so much, man. I can't wait to do more of this. I can't wait to do your podcast next week. And dude, here's to us continuing to do these over and over and have a lot of fun doing it.
Definitely, Corey. Thank you again for having me and thank you for using your voice.
I want to say to anybody listening, if this is your first time checking out Evolving, go back and check the archives. I'm going on 10 years of this. So what was the episode number for this? 382? Yeah, keep on coming back. Keep on coming back. Hit that subscribe button, like button. Got any questions or comments or anything? Leave them in the comments section down there. And follow John. If you're not following him and this is your first time and you came because of me, follow my friend John. If you're coming because of John, follow me. Let's all have some fun. Let's follow
Exactly.
Trey. And also, I want to say, man, if you ever, I mean, I said this to John on the record, but I mean this as like a universal. If you're ever going through something and you feel like you've got nobody and you can't talk to somebody, my DMs are pretty open, man. They're pretty wide open. So send me a message. I'd love to be a resource. I'd love to be somebody here to tell you, to be a listening ear, you know, uh, within reason, and make sure you stay kind to everybody else, and most importantly, stay kind to yourself. Be fun, have safe, keep evolving.